today's message, thankfulness takes the sting out of adversity. That is why I have instructed you to give thanks for everything. There is an element of mystery in this transaction. You give me thanks, regardless of your feelings, and I give you joy, regardless of your circumstances. This is a spiritual act of obedience at times, blind obedience. To people who don't know me intimately, it can seem irrational and even impossible to thank me for heart-rending hardships. Nonetheless, those who obey me in this way are invariably blessed, even though difficulties may remain. Thankfulness opens your heart to my presence and your mind to my thoughts. You may still be in the same place, with the same set of circumstances, but it is as if a light has been switched on, enabling you to see from my perspective. It is this light of my presence that removes the sting from adversity. Type super. Thanks for this God message. Type yes if you're ready. And share this video with 3 people who trust God. God message tonight. Everything that happens in this world happens at the time God chooses. He sets the time for birth and the time for death, the time for planting and the time for pulling up, the time for killing and the time for healing, the time for tearing down and the time for building. He sets the time for sorrow and the time for joy, the time for mourning and the time for dancing, the time for making love and the time for not making love, the time for kissing and the time for not kissing. He sets the time for finding and the time for losing, the time for saving and the time for throwing away, the time for tearing and the time for mending, the time for silence and the time for talk. He sets the time for love and the time for hate, the time for war and the time for peace. What do we gain from all our work? I know the heavy burdens that God has laid on us. He has set the right time for everything. He has given us a desire to know the future, but never gives us the satisfaction of fully understanding what He does. Type Amen if you agree. Universe is saying to you today, it's not always easy to move on. In order to step into the new thing, we have to let go of the OLA, the familiar, the safe, the comfortable, the known. Sounds easy, romantic, adventurous, and enticing, but it's often terrifying. Even when you know that you know that you know, God is in it, leading you and is with you. You keep second-guessing yourself, questioning your motives, your sanity, or your discernment. Taking the step from where you are to where you need to go is the biggest small step of obedience you can take. You must do it by faith because your mind, heart, and emotions will often fight you every step of the way. You will want to linger. You will long for the stability of what was, even if it wasn't stable. is predicated on trust, not understanding. Type I'm optimistic if you're ready. God is saying to you today, time humbles you. It humbles you in a way you will never expect and won't think you need and will never see coming. But it will, just the same. It gives you chances to stand at the top and opportunities to fall. To stand on the stage and to fade into the blur of everybody else. Time teaches you to live the kind of life you ran from once and to dig deeper and deeper into the souls of the hearts that walk this earth with you. But mostly, it teaches you to see what matters and what doesn't, when an end is a beginning, and when an end is an end. Darling, you're going to get a bit of it all. You're going to feel like you've got it all handled and you're completely lost. You'll feel like you have it all figured out, and also like you have absolutely no idea what you're doing. You're going to change your heart and your eyes and your mind and your style and your footsteps. You're going to fit in and stand out, be loved and be broken. And I can't promise you how much of each you're going to get, but I can promise you one thing. This world is going to know you were here. Mark my words. You are going to carve your name into time, and it's going to remember. Type amen if you believe this. God message for you today. You're going to realize it one day that happiness was never about your job or your degree or being in a relationship. It was never about being like the others. One day you're going to see that happiness was always about the discovery, the hope, the listening to your heart, and following it wherever it chose to go. Happiness was always about being kinder to yourself. It was always about embracing the person you were becoming. It was always about you. Type yes to affirm this.